Hello and welcome in to week 3 of the Playbook Pundits Coach Show podcast. I'm your host, Zach James. Thanks for listening along. Coming up in this week's show, we'll talk to a couple of high school coaches, one from Friday night actually, and then one previewing one of this week's games coming up. Coming up in this week's episode, we'll talk to West coach Brandon Holmes after the Wolverines beat the South Sioux City Cardinals 42-41 in overtime last week. We talked to him right after the game. There was lots of emotion. I thought I wanted to share that with the audience. So it was a good interview, and they were very happy. So I wanted to send that along. And then we'll talk to Dakota Valley coach Jeff VanDenHul as the Panthers try and seek their first win, and that'll come up against Lennox coming up on Friday night. Sit back and relax for the next 15 to 20 minutes as we'll talk to Brandon Holmes and Jeff VanDenHul coming up in this week's show. As a reminder, check out SiouxCityJournal.com to watch our Playbook Pundits videocast, which was released on Tuesday. We recorded that on Tuesday and not on Monday because of the holiday week. In this week's episode, Shane Lance and I broke down our top 5 running backs in the area, and we had some similarities and we had some differences, but you'll have to go check out the video to see how we agreed and disagreed. But for right now, relax, sit back, listen to Brandon Holmes and Jeff VanDenHul. We'll start off with Brandon Holmes of the West Wolverines as they beat South Sioux City 42-41, and that interview was right after the game on South Sioux's field. What's going through your mind right now, Brandon?
I'm just happy for my boys. They deserve it. They work every day. I challenge them. I put them in bad situations, and this is what we get. So it's a great experience.
When did you start to think that this could happen tonight?
Since we got off the bus. The mentality, the effort, the communication, the love. Ever since we come out of the bus, I have no doubt in the West Side Wolverines, man.
What worked tonight that maybe hasn't in the last couple of years?
Just a strong offensive line, a smart quarterback that wants to do that, and awfully Drew Benson running for running for how many yards he ran for. But we got a good team, and we're very happy to be here with these guys.
What does this moment mean? I know you haven't been here a while. I think it's only your second year. But what does this moment mean for you?
Me as a person, man, I'm just happy, man. My family's here. My people are out here. Congratulations. We just want to live this. This is just staying in the moment, man. Life is too short to dwell over the past.
How much do you want these kids to stay in this moment, to celebrate this moment? I get there's still business to do. I get that. But how much do you want them to celebrate this moment?
This is just for West High. This is for the West Side. We do this. We obviously got some more work to do. We obviously got things to fix up and stuff like that. But to bring this and back home for our side of town, it's huge. That's what we do it for, the West Side. The West Side. It's the best side.
Yes. I thought the defense played fairly well tonight. Maybe that hasn't been shown the last couple of years. What did the defense do tonight that maybe they haven't done in the last couple of years?
Just pursuit. Heavy pursuit and good tackling. I mean, we still missed a couple tackles, but we had some newcomers. We put those pieces together. We talk about everybody bringing their one piece to the puzzle, and this is what you get, a lot of celebration. Everyone's happy. We still got some work to do, though.
I don't necessarily want to say surprised, but what's going through your mind when you think about that the guys had to fight through adversity? Plenty of penalties tonight. South Sioux made a couple big explosive plays. How were the guys able to fight through all that?
Just being here, just like I just said, just being there with each other, being here for each other, being in the weight room. The talk we had in halftime, I was able to actually just sit back and just listen to my boys talking how they wanted it. So when you have a team that just take it upon themselves to want it, it's the best feeling in the world, man.
What was said at halftime?
Grind. We said we're going to play it behind our offensive defensive line. We're going to play good, sound football, and we were going to come out with the victory. So we're happy. We're very happy.
Yeah, shave your head now?
Yeah, I told him if we came out this, I'm going to have to shave my head. So I guess I'm going to have to give me a Gillette razor and some shaving cream, and I'll see you next week with a nice shiny tone, man.
I'm sure they'll be happy to see that. How can the guys build off of this?
Just look at them. Look at the happiness. I can tell they're ready to start next week already, and we're ready to keep going.
Have you ever seen these guys this happy?
I have. But as far as the way they came together, the way Coach Rivera, my staff, Coach Rivera, Lee, Darwin, Larry, GW, Jason Warren, Mr. Green. We're just a family. We're a family. It's awesome when you can win a game and everybody from the stands just come out here and celebrate. That just makes us a family.
Like after the soccer game when they beat Louis Central Dakota State, I thought that was a great moment. This might top it.
I mean, that was a great opportunity. I was out there for them boys as well, seeing that. But football guys, you got to be happy for this. You got to be happy for our program, our side of town. We're just ready to go. We're ready for next week.
And once again, thanks to Brandon Holmes of the West High School program for giving me a couple minutes to chat after Friday night's 42-41 big win over South Sioux City. And now we're joined with Dakota Valley coach Jeff VanDenHul as they prepare for Lennox coming up this week on Friday night. Jeff, welcome in. And before we talk about you guys for a minute, I know you've been coaching around here for a long time. How cool is it to see Sioux City West, the city schools, have the success that they have? I know you guys don't normally play Sioux City schools, but is the competition better when schools like West, North, and East do win ball games?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we actually help each other in the summer because we're in 7-on-7 camp, so we see each other quite often in the summer, and you build relationships, and I know their head coaches real well, and it's great to see success in any of our areas. So I'm really happy for those programs and the start they're getting, and like I said, I've been working with those coaches for a number of years now, so it's good to see that.
Let's talk about you guys for a second. Pretty disappointing loss against Madison coming up last week, but like we talked about in the preseason, the guys are young and they're going to gain experience. But what are you learning about this team a couple weeks into the season now? 21 new starters, kind of like what we talked about in the preseason. But what are you learning about this team so far a couple weeks into the season?
Well, we're a work in progress. We're slowly learning, what each kid can do and what they're capable of, and still, I keep talking about a large puzzle, and we're still moving pieces around, trying to get everything to fit. And we have a lot of pieces. It's just a matter of the coaches putting them in the right position to succeed, and that's we're still working through that part of it.
I was just about to ask, how hard is it kind of figuring out that puzzle so far?
It's been difficult, First game, you throw 90 degrees or high humidity, and so all the things that you have planned kind of go out the window, and so then you get into the second game, and you still really didn't have an idea of what we could and couldn't do, because it was just first week was very unique. I don't know if I've ever had a game that hot, on the turf and everything else. So we had kids that we were expecting to get, to start on one side of the ball and play on the other side of the ball, and we were lucky to get them to go one way because they were just so overheated. So we went into week 2 still having question marks, So I'm hoping we're kind of getting past that and kind of getting rolls for everybody now.
I know you guys are 0-2, but is it time to push the panic button yet? Or is it even appropriate to look at the panic button, even considering how young these kids are?
It's high school football. I don't know if that's a tough. You ask me some tough questions. I don't know if there's really a panic button. We're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep getting better, and we're gonna improve every week. And if that leads us to the wins, great. And if it doesn't, sometimes it's not in the cards, but our kids are working their tails off. Our coaches are putting the time in, and we're getting better, and we're getting better every day, and we're getting better every week. There's a huge improvement from week 1 to week 2 in our play. I know the score doesn't show it, but the score isn't everything either, so our kids are working hard, and we're getting better, and we got kids stepping up that we weren't expecting, and success can be measured in a lot of ways, and we had some successful things happen in the last 2 weeks. It just doesn't show on the scoreboard sometimes. Our effort level is getting there. We're still not where we need to be, but it was better in week 2 than it was in week 1. Offensively, we had a lot of turnovers and some bad plays in the first week. Second week, we didn't have near as many of those, So you sometimes got to just, especially with a young group of kids and trying to do what you're doing, you have to kind of keep improving on the outskirts, and keep slowly improving. It isn't going to be any magic pill that we take that, all of a sudden we're a, top tier team. It's going to take weeks, and it's going to take days, and it's going to take reps and practice, and that's kind of what we're in the middle of.
It's the rushing attack improved from week 1 to week 2?
It did. It did improve, but where we're struggling right now is we'll have 3 good plays, and then we'll have a negative play. So we had 13 negative plays last week. So if we can take and eliminate, half of those even, and all of a sudden our numbers are going to look even better. You can have a kid rush for 30 yards in 3 plays, but the next play he has a -8. That really can skew things. So we have to just get better at the consistency and turn a -3 into a 0 or a +1. Because you have a -3 and you just get behind the chains in such a hurry that we got to learn how to, instead of trying to run for a touchdown every time.
Right.
I think sometimes that's where we get into trouble. We think every carry is a touchdown. Sometimes you got to take what they give you, and it might only be 2. So instead of taking the -3, you take the 2, and now it's 2nd and 8 instead of 2nd and 13, and that's a huge difference. And that's, I think, where we've struggled the most, is getting kids to understand that not every carry is going to be a touchdown, but we got to make sure every carry isn't a negative, or we don't have any negative runs, and that's the big thing. If we can eliminate those, all the numbers are going to be where they need to be, and we're going to be just fine.
So from a passing perspective, your quarterback, Ethan Onama, he was 11 for 21 last week for 154 yards, a touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. So there you go with 3 of those negative plays you talked about. But
negative plays.
Does he have that same mindset of every pass needs to be a touchdown?
He's done a pretty good job of sticking with his reads. Don't get me wrong. I think push comes to shove, he's going to find his favorite receivers. But, even last week, I think we had 4 different receivers throughout the game, and so he's spreading the ball around a little bit, and there's times where he's going to take his shots, but I think he's also smart enough to know the situation, and he's going to get us the first down when he needs to. And our receivers are smart enough to get behind the chains too. So I think it's been pretty good combination.
Talking with Dakota Valley coach Jeff VanDenHul here on the Playbook Pundits Coaches Show here on SiouxCityJournal.com. Let's shift over to the defense for a second. Where is the defense improved from week 1 to now?
Well, I think defensively, it comes down to just getting the kids in the right positions. We had a senior go down in week 1, our middle linebacker JJ Mayer, and we're hoping to get him back pretty quickly. He's going to miss again this week, but he's kind of that kid that brings the energy, and kid that is going to be our leader on defense, and that's been some hard shoes for us to fill. It isn't even so much the player; it's the kid and the leader and like I said, he just brings energy, and so we've missed that. So it's been hard to figure out our defense without him, So I think we've struggled to get the right kids in the right spots a little bit, and I think we have a little better plan this week, and it's just a matter of keep throwing kids in there until we can figure out who's going to go and play aggressive. I think that's the thing that we've had a hard time teaching these kids is they played hard at a JV level last year, but getting them to play at the varsity level and play hard, that's been our challenge.
What do you know about Lennox?
Lennox, their head coach came in the same year that I came in at Dakota Valley here. He's wants to throw the ball around, and this year they've been pretty good at it. I know they have a couple receivers and a good quarterback. We have to find a way to get after the quarterback and make him uncomfortable in the pocket. If we let him sit in the pocket, we're going to struggle. So we have to find a way to get a little pressure on him and make them do some things that they don't necessarily want to do. But they're a good football team. They have some good athletes, and we got to be ready for a competitive game.
Yep, and and the Panthers will be at home on Friday night, 7 o'clock against Lennox, and Shane Lance will cover that game, and you can follow him on Twitter at Shane M. Lance. He is Jeff VanDenHul, the football coach of the Dakota Valley Panthers. Jeff, thanks for the time.
Hey, thank you.
And that'll do it for the Week 3 edition of the Playbook Pundits Coaches Show here on SiouxCityJournal.com. Make sure to check out SiouxCityJournal.com at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon to watch our live stream between Assistant Sports Editor Shane Lance and I as we preview that night's games in the Metro and Siouxland area. Also check out SiouxCityJournal.com for past podcasts, past videocasts, basically anything you want to see from the beginning of the fall season on prep football, prep volleyball, prep cross country. Got to see a cross country meet this week, so I was happy about that. All high school, college, and pro minor league coverage. Go check it out on SiouxCityJournal.com. For everyone in the Sioux City Journal office, I'm sports editor Zach James. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week.